Good morning, students. Welcome back to our online classes. To the students of Standard 8, Bailey Public School, good morning. Hope all of you are doing well and continuing your study from your home. Today, we are going to learn about chapter 1 of history, that is how, when and where. Students, this is the first chapter of history and only few things are mentioned in this chapter. It is the introductory part of the history. The first things that we are going to learn today is the definition of history. What is history? History is the study of changing pattern in society. Later on we will see the different definition given by different historians, but the basic definition is history is the changing pattern in society. We can also say history is the study of past. We know that the things that are past are history. The things which are going on at present is the present, and the things which are going to happen is the future. So, hope you understand history is the study of past. Now, coming to the second point, which dates? Which dates? I have also written in the board the importance of dates. Which date become important in the history? Students, we make dates important by focusing on a particular event that happened in that date. Once again, I am repeating, what makes a date important? We make dates important by focusing on a particular event which occurred on that date. So you can understand how date become important. Now, moving to the next point, that is periodization of history. We have a different periodization of history. That means history is divided into different periods. We can see the different periodization. As I was telling you about the periodization of history, there are different periodization of history given by different historians. Among these, some of the periodization are widely accepted, whereas some are not. For example, first periodization is given by James Mill in 1817. James Mill divided the history into three periods: Hindu period, Muslim period, and British period. To understand this, when James Mill said that Hindu period, it is the ancient period when people lived in India uncivilized. When he speaks about the Muslim period, this is the period when different Muslim rulers from Afghan, they ruled in India. And third period is the British period. This classification is given by James Mill. The periodization of his history given by James Mill is also not accepted by the Indian historians, because James Mill says that before the British rule, before the colonial rule or the British rule in India, the India was uncivilized and it was a dark period. Therefore, many historians reject this periodization because they says that the British period was not only the period of colonial rule, but during British period the British had plundered India, looted the wealth of India. Whereas the James Mill says that the British period is the period of development in India, and therefore this the periodization given by James Mill is also rejected by many of the Indian historians. The second periodization is again, this period is divided into three periods. The ancient period, that is from 4000 BC to 656 century, that is ancient period. When we speak about the ancient period, it is the period when people lived in the life of nomadic. People used to move from one place to another, and hunting and gathering was the process, and therefore it was the ancient period. Second period is the medieval period. It is also written as the medieval India. This medieval period is between 656 century to 1750 century, 1750. This period is also known as the Muslim period because different Afghan Muslim rulers ruled in India during this period. During this period, Delhi Sultans ruled in Delhi, and then after the Mughal Badshahs ruled in Delhi. So that was the medieval period when different Muslim rulers ruled in India. And the third is the modern period. The modern period starts from 1751 century to 1947. This modern period is also known as the colonial period. Now, many historians, they also reject this modern period by saying that it is not only the modern period, but it should be called as the colonial period, because during this 1751 to 1947 the British ruled in India. British rule was in India, and that was the colonial period, the colonial rule. Indian historians do not consider British period as the modern period because during this British period the British ruled in India, they exploited India, they looted the wealth of India, and they treated India as a colony. They took away the raw materials from India and made her an important of finished British goods. So British rule can hardly be described as the modern period. It was colonial. So this was the periodization of history. The first periodization given by the James Mill, that is also accepted widely but not by the Indian historians, because the James Mill considers the modern period is the period when British rule in India, and that was the period of development. Rather, before this British period, India had a dark period. Second is the periodization we have seen is the ancient period, the medieval period, and the modern period. This period is widely accepted, and mostly we follow in our books this periodization: the ancient period, the medieval period, and the modern period. In class 7 you have studied about this, how and what are the things happen in the ancient period. In class 8 we will see in details about the medieval period, how the Muslim rulers from Afghans, they rule in India, and then we will see the modern period, or the colonial period when British ruled in India, the British period, and we will see how the India got freedoms from this. The next question is, what is colonial? What is colonial rule? When a powerful country controls, takes the political and geographical and economical control of another weak country, and that is called as the colonial rule. So British came to India and got the political control over India, the geographical control and the economic control, and from trade to the territory they became the owner, the ruler of India, and therefore the British period was called as the colonial period or the colonial rule in India. So I hope you understand what is colonial period is. Next, we are going to the interpretation in history. The next is interpretation of history. The interpretation of history differs from individual to individual. For example, when we speak about the War of 1857, the War of 1857 is interpreted different by the different people. For example, British considered or interpreted the War of 1857 as just as Sepoy's mutiny. The British to say that the War of 1857, they said that it was just a revolt by few soldiers in the British army, and therefore they say that it is a Sepoy's mutiny. Whereas when many Indian historians writes about the War of 1857, they say that it was a war of 1857, widely fought not only by the Sepoys in the British army, but many Indians, different people from the different society, they joined this War of 1857. Many Indian rulers like Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahab, and many other rulers, they lost their lives during this War of 1857. So the war, which was just a Sepoys mutiny, that means a revolt by a few group of Sepoys, it was for British. For Indian, it was a first war of independence, because during this time many group of the Indian society, many people from rulers to the Sepoys or to the farmers, many people joined in this war of first war of independence, that is in 1857. So you see that interpretation of history is done by different people in different ways. People interpret the history, the incident of the history in different ways. Next, we are coming to the sources of history. How do we know about the history? The sources of history. There are different sources about the history to know the history. Among these, two sources are very much famous and widely known. These sources of history is divided into two, that is the literary sources and the archaeological sources. The literary sources is the written records that tells about the past events. Literary sources are the writings, the books, the letters, the reports of the government records, These are the writings that gives information about a period in history, so that we call as the literary sources. When we speak about the archaeological sources, the archaeological sources are the old remains, old things that gives us the information about a particular period. For example, coins. Coin tells us about a ruler, about the economic condition in a particular economic condition in a time of a particular ruler, their business, their trade, and so on. So coins. Then pillar edicts. Edicts are the writings on a pillar, on the walls, or on the stones, engraved writings. For example, Ashoka, when he accepted Buddhism after the war of Kalinga, he gave his religious message written on the pillars, on the walls, and on the stones, so that his people could understand the message given by the Ashoka. Monuments, temples, old buildings, these are the archaeological sources. And those who study about these archaeological sources, they are called archaeologists. They only can understand about, by seeing these things about a particular period. So, next we are moving to the sources of the colonial period. Sources of the colonial period. As I told you that colonial period, it is the period when British rule in India. It is also called as the modern period. So during this period, because the education was developed, the writing was available, and therefore we have a lot of literary sources about this colonial period or the British period. But before this British period, during the medieval period, we have few writings available, because during this medieval period also there were many travelers, especially the travelers who traveled from different places like Marco Polo, Fahin. They visited India and they have written about India during the medieval periods. The rulers ruled in medieval periods. Apart from this, there were some rulers in medieval periods. I told you that medieval period is also the period when Muslim rulers rule in India. So different Muslim rulers like Delhi Sultans and the Mughal rulers like Babur. We see the Babur has written his autobiography as a Baburnama, and he keeps a record of his rule, his administration. So Baburnama, then Akbarnama, these are the some writings available during the medieval periods. So some of the rulers who used to keep the records of their rule, their administration, are available as a written record of the medieval period. When we come to the sources of the colonial period, we have a lot of the written record. Among these, the administrative records. The British, they used to keep the record of every proceeding, because they believe that these records should be kept as the reference in the future. So they kept the records of every proceedings, any law passed during the time of British rule. They used to keep the records. Then comes the survey reports. British, when they started ruling in India, they fixed the revenue in different places, and to fix the revenue, they surveyed the field, the agricultural fields, and after the survey and finding out the fertility of that region, fertility of the land, they fixed the revenue accordingly. So therefore, survey reports are there. Indigenous records, there are many indigenous records. There are many records written by different people. So as I told you, during the British period, there are many written records are available. Among these, many Indians, when the war for independence was being fought between India and the British, many Indian leaders also kept the records. For example, Dadabhai Naoroji wrote Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, and newspaper like Kesari. These are the records that we have available during the British rule in India. So I hope you understand the classes. This is only the preliminary chapter, the introductory chapter of history for class 8. So hope you understand. After understanding this class, try to solve the questions given at the back, and that's all.